What up? I'm Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Coded Design, where I teach coding and user interface design. This is the third video of my crash course titled Conceptual OOP. In this video, we're gonna deal with the class structure. As we have mentioned before, in object-oriented programming class, you don't just type any instruction. Let's just make an example. Let's just remove this information from the previous video. Just like in this PHP file or inside these PHP tags, we can type whatever we want, however we want it. Also, let's say we are creating a function. The name of the function is something. And then inside a function, you can type whatever you want. We can echo a string to display a string and declare variables. We've got much freedom inside a function. This was something. We've got much freedom inside a function and also inside a PHP tag or in a PHP file. But when it comes to a class, we must adhere to certain rules and certain ways of doing things. You don't just write code randomly. So that's what we mean by a class structure. A class, just like an object in real life, it has got some properties and method. Because this class will be instantiated, we will create objects from it. So a class has got properties. Just like in real life, a house can have a color, a certain height, and you name them. And also a cell phone has got some certain features. It has got some version as an object. So those are properties. Classes have got properties. So what are properties? Properties are just like variables, but they are some sort of a special type of variables. What do I mean maybe by special type? As we will be declaring these variables as properties, you will notice that they have got the visibility scope. You might declare them as public or as private, something that you don't really do in a general variable outside, let's say, the scope of a class. However, when you want to refer to those variables in your code, you use a keyword this, something that you don't really do in a general like variable. When you want to use a general variable, you just put its name and that is it, the variable name, and that will be it. But when it comes to the variables of a class, which are called properties, when you want to refer to them, you use the this keyword. So let's type properties of this class items. Okay, let's say public item name, public item price, and public and item size. So this course items is a class, this class items, it's a class that can be used in an application like an online shop. So these items here represent any item that can be sold, like cell phones, like whatever, like cars and whatever. So in real life, this class that we are declaring here or that we are creating, it can be used in those applications like point of sale or online shopping stores. So in your mind, you must have that picture that the items what we're talking about are all the items that can be sold. So those items, they've got properties. They've got the item name, they've got the item price, and they might have the item size. What type of a real life item that might have those properties? A shoe. It might have item name and the item price and the item size. So inside a class, you must have the properties. However, In addition to properties, we've got methods. Methods are function that governs the behavior or the capability of the class, what it can do, and also how it can behave. However, we're gonna start with the default, I can say, method, a method that must be there in a class because it serves a special function in a class. That method is called a constructor. Okay. A constructor is a method or is just a function that it must be inside a class, so that when you instantiate this class, when you create an object of this class, it runs automatically to set some things up. So this is a method, yes, but it's a special type of a method called a constructor. It must be there in a class to initialize things. However, you can also have some other method which we might say function, let's say display price, function display price. So this is our custom method. So this is our custom method display price. What it will do, it will just display the price. So inside a class, you don't write instructions like anywhere else, meaning that inside the class, it's either you are declaring your variables or you are declaring your functions or your method. So it's either you're declaring properties or you're declaring method. You can't just come inside the class and just type instructions randomly. For instance, let's say I want to say equal whatever, meaning that equal is displaying something, whatever that I want to display. So this is wrong, as you can see that it's highlighted red. You can't just write any instructions anywhere. So that was it about the class structure. That was it about the class structure. You declare your class with the class name, items, and then you open and close your curly braces, and then let me just quickly write here methods. So and then you can type your properties, and then you can have your method. Whatever that you want to write, it must be inside a method, like some instructions to be performed and instruction to be done. You can't have instruction, let's say, in a body of a class. The only thing that you can have in a body of the class, it's your properties. That is it for this video. If you feel like this has added value into your overall understanding of object-oriented programming, please subscribe. In the next video, we will be discussing the scope of properties and methods.